What's up, y'all? Of course, this is Sydney G, and I'm here to talk to y'all about the breakup that I went through. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to need to go and see the last video where I talked about my first love and my first heartbreak. And I'm here to talk about the thing that happened like 4 days later between us. It was very traumatic. It was abusive emotionally, and it was just all fucked up. Now, the date is now, I think, the 26th of March, and I have not really been wanting to talk about it. I mean, if you weren't around me when it was going down, I had my support system who I was calling while it was going on. They know the details, but the blow by blow, I stopped talking about. And actually, on my Fansly, and is when I go over like I'm gonna go over like what I did to stop the momentum. But let me just go ahead and get into this. So I explained how this was a person who was a Zambian. Didn't mean to fall in love, but I did. Again, I'm not gonna really go back into that because that is an hour and 20-minute video about that shit. The next video, so watch all that, then come back to this. So at that time that I made the video, I found out that night that I had something called a soul tie. It's just a very emotional and spiritual connection that you had to a person, and it made a lot of sense because I could feel him, I could sense him. When we were about to see each other, I could feel it, I can sense it. Like what I described in the video, like I would smell him randomly. He would show up in my dreams. If I was upset, he would have a dream about it. Like, it was this spiritual fucking bond that was crazy. Like, as I said in the video, I'd be walking down the fucking street and I would feel him swoop over me, and we would talk about it and it would be very clear. And he was thinking about me too, so it was a very deep connection. So at that time that I made that video that I posted, I think that was around like the 4th or some shit, I hadn't spoken to him for real in a while. And the last thing that I basically got to him, because it was a very crazy situation of like, because we met in June, and then like sometime in like fucking August or some shit, something happened with his phone. Basically, what I know now is he did a very smart thing, which is probably why he didn't get caught. All communications was going through his best friend. Between me and him, me and the best friend became close, and so I could not contact the man that I loved directly. And I was so in it, I couldn't even say, look, if you want to be with me, you go out to get it directly. But I had not done that. It just had become normal in this particular relationship that I'm not talking to this person every day. When we do talk, it's messages. It's not even, he's not even calling me, because he used to just use his friend's phone. They worked together. He used his friend's phone to message or FaceTime me. He wasn't doing any of that. And here I am, 30-something years old, playing these kind of games with myself. Like, that was crazy. But anyway, so the last message I sent to him through his friend was, I don't want to keep coming to your job, because I was coming to the job basically to get to find out when he was going to come to see me, and so it started feeling ridiculous to me. So I was like, look, I don't like coming up here and talking to you. Like, I don't like this. He worked at a club. It stopped feeling good for me to be coming up there basically to only try to get this nigga to tell me when he gonna come see me. Then he tell me, then he don't come. And I'm just like, look, I love him, but I'm gonna give him his space. He keeps talking about how he's busy. Busy is a trigger for me because I don't believe it. Fundamentally, I don't believe that anyone is too busy for something that they prioritize. It was clear I wasn't being prioritized, but I still wasn't ready to let it go. You know what I'm saying? I was in love. Like, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna do everything I can. I remember the last time we were together, I was like, look, we both like to work out. Let's work out together. Like, I was trying to throw out all these suggestions to get him to do it, but he just had become this standoffish, fucking verbal recluse. He's not talking. It just was nothing like the person that I knew. One of the reasons I fell for him was because he was so open, talk to me about anything. You know what I'm saying? And that just changed. I mean, when you go back to the last video, he disappeared for a month, and when he came back, he was never the same after that, ever. the same. He wasn't as happy. Something went down that I'll never know the story of because I just simply can't get the truth, and I've accepted that I've never really had the full story. Anyway, so I made the video. I was still romanticizing it, still kind of, even though I wasn't even talking to this person, I was enjoying it. I was romanticizing the high. I was romanticizing all of the shit that's not really romantic. It's nothing romantic about not being able to see the fucking man that you love. You know what I'm saying? That's not cute. Anyway, so I felt and I knew in my spirit that I was going to see him soon. Because the last time I saw him, I ran into him at the waterfront. We ran into each other. And I didn't feel comfortable to embrace and hug and kiss. He didn't feel like my man anymore. He felt like some dude that I loved but I just didn't feel comfortable showing any kind of affection. It was no longer a safe place for me. I was expecting rejection and things like that. It just wasn't the same. I don't know. But I just loved him so much. So I was like, okay, look, I'm just going to have to focus on myself and step back. Anyway, so I can feel it. I can feel it deeply when we're about to run into each other. So, my friend was here visiting Cape Town. She had been going from hotel to hotel. She picked this hotel. And she had a two-bedroom beachfront place. And she said, hey, we decided I was going to come and spend a couple of days with her. So on the way there, she's like, oh my God, I just ran into these dudes shooting a video. I immediately knew it was going to have something to do with him. I knew it. I didn't have any proof yet, but I knew it. So then I get there, and all of these dudes are Zambians. My man, he was a Zambian. I'm like, wow, okay. I'm like, can't seem to get away from this motherfucker. Like, it's like something with him is always kind of following me around. It's ridiculous. And which is part of the reason I wanted to leave Cape Town, which I am leaving Cape Town in a couple of days. But that's not the point of this video. And so they all Zambians. And they all shooting the video in a couple of days. My friend said she was just somewhere doing yoga. They came up to her and said, hey, we got a video shoot. She ended up befriending them, going to dinner with them. I happened to show up the same day. So they're all Zambian. They talk about how they work with all of the rappers. And so I was hesitant to mention my ex. Mind you, if we would have been together, I would have made sure it was a big deal because that I really pushed and sold that they work with him. Because that's what I do. When I love you, I'm going to make sure you get the money, whatever your dreams are, I'm going to do whatever it is. And I have to get the gap. I can sell anything. I wasn't even trying to sell when they were saying I was selling. So that's just how magical I am, you know. And so anyway, so I mentioned, so one of the guys was the videographer, and he ended up coming back to the room, cool, younger dude. And I was just like, so have you heard of this dude? He was like, who? I was like, oh, I guess he had heard of him. And then he was like, spell it, and I spelled his name. And he looked at his phone. He was like, oh yeah, I was DMing him today. I was like, wow, fucking crazy. That's what the fuck are the odds? He was like, he's trying to work with me today. He was like, but you know, I'm not really sure, you know, but yeah, we were DMing a little bit today. I'm like, okay, interesting. And also, the dude, this younger dude, was also in the same location that his best friend was. The best friend in which I used to talk. His name is Nokio. That's his nickname I gave him. Nokio is my ex's best friend, in which he was the communicator. He would say, hey, he's outside. Hey, he's coming up at this time. Hey, he would deliver all of the messages for him. Very smart way to not get caught, by the way. Anyway, so Nokio's West Stop story, he was at this place at Cape Town, and the director was there at the same time he was. I'm like, this is some crazy ass coincidences, but I knew it wasn't a coincidence, and I also could tell by how I was feeling I was going to run into my ex soon. I'm telling you, I can't make this up. So anyway, I was like, because they were looking for a video girl. I'm like, look, I know that he has connections with various women that maybe could be in the video. I didn't go into were we together, but it was clear about like what I was saying, what I wasn't saying, that me and him had a relationship. I was like, I was like, me and him are on and off. That's the way I would describe us, because we were on and off. We would go weeks without seeing each other, and all of a sudden we're seeing each other again. Another thing I'm learning, never to romanticize again. There's nothing sexy or good or healthy about on and off. We either own or we fucking off. I don't have time for the back and forth. Not anymore where I am. Maybe later when I get my man of my dreams, the side nigga can be on and off, but I need stability. I'll get to that later. I'm like, all right, cool. So then the next day, again, me and this whole team of Zambians is in the same hotel that I happen to be at. These coincidences are crazy. And so the next day, I was like, I ran into him. I ran into the director. Let's call him Little Wayne. That's my nickname for him. And he was like, I was like, you know what? You should work with him. He's very talented. He was like, oh yeah, you know, I was with him this morning. I was like, interesting. I was like, I knew it. Anyway, so the next day, I was supposed to go and just go on a video shoot just to be there. I mean, why not? And so I wake up to this phone call saying, yeah, your dude is out here. So I walk outside of my fucking hotel and look a little bit on the beach, and there is my ex, the love of my life, the dude who I haven't talked to directly in a week, the dude who I just can't stop thinking about, the dude who had the last couple of occasions told me he loved me to my face for the first time, like said the words, you know, I love you. While we did the I love you too for the first time a couple of weeks before that, which is a big deal for me. You know, this dude who I just felt like in some way we was meant to be is standing, I can see him. And that outside of where I happen to be. You do the coincidences in your head. What are the odds I'm gonna be in the same fucking hotel? What are the odds my friend's gonna run into some Zambians? What are the, cause I only met 2 Zambians my whole 2 years in South Africa. I fucked them both. Okay? And one I happen to be in love with. Anyway, crazy. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm romanticizing it. Oh my God, we're gonna talk, we're gonna fall into each other's arms, it's gonna be romantic, we're gonna pick up where we left off, and all of that. I was wrong as fuck. So none of that happened. I went to him and I was like, hey, I'm all completely ignored me, looked straight ahead. Just like, immediately I knew he was upset about something, and I knew that it had to be a rumor or something that he heard, because there's no way based on our last encounter he would be acting like that. There's no way that he should be angry about what I said to his friend about falling back. I basically said to his friend, I love him, but I got to focus on me. I think he just wants his time. I've been living in the past. I've been living in a time where that nigga used to be with me 4 times a week. It's not the case no more. I love him. Whenever he's ready to see me, I'll embrace him. I'll try to make myself available. I'll always love this person. I'm not breaking up with him because saying I'm breaking up is too painful. I'm just giving him his space. It's nothing about that should warrant the kind of response I got. And he was acting like he was 5. I'm literally poking the man that I'm fucking in love with. Poking you. He's looking straight ahead, not paying any attention, not speaking to me. I think he said a quick little hey. But after that, I was like, isn't it crazy that like I know them? Because the dude, the star of music, is like this big Zambian rapper. All of these people was like, Sydney, they all know me. Because I had made a good, I'm me. People fall in love with me. I made a good impression. But he, the man that I love, nothing. So we're holding this light reflector thing. And he is like being mean to me. He's like barking orders like come do it. Like, you know, he's like talking to me kind of crazy. And I was like, shut up. Like I remember once I was like, shut up. Like, but you know, I don't want to fuck up somebody's shoot. So I'll just make a mental note to address this later. But he was just fucking rude and mean to me, and I just couldn't understand why. So as soon as we cut or whatever, I was like, why are you acting like you weren't just trying to get me pregnant? Like, why are you, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are you acting like, I was like, did you hear something? Because when somebody acting like that, they didn't heard something. Like, it's no way you can get this reaction if you hadn't heard anything. But, and I'm like, okay, but if you heard something, he would come to me, because we made a pact, like the last time we saw each other. If we hear anything, we are going to bring it to each other. Because you have to. You can't just hear something and just leave. No. You know what I'm saying? I actually kind of sort of made that mistake with us before. And because of that, we said we're not going to do that anymore. And that's a whole other story. The details are irrelevant, but I didn't give him a chance to explain something. I was just like, I'm done, because I heard it from my friend. But, you know, whatever. So I was like, we can't do that to each other anymore. And so I'm thinking if he heard something, he would bring it to me. So I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but he was so cold. I'm here to work. I didn't come here for you. I'm here to work, and I'm thinking, nigga, you here because I put in a good word, first off, but whatever. So he's acting very cold. I'm confused as fuck. But at the same time, it's just in a calm within me, but like it's like one side of me is kind of panicking and the other side is calm. I didn't really get it. So we went into the room to talk to get ready to go to the next place, and he's acting a little bit more friendly, a little bit. It was weird, and the dude was like the Little Wayne, which is the videographer. For some reason, he wanted me to pretend as if he didn't know that me and him knew each other. So when we sat down together, he was like, "Oh, so you two know each other?" And I'm looking at him like, you know. Then my ex was like, "Oh, she didn't tell you." Give me that little look like, "Oh, she didn't tell you that we was together." And I'm like, I wasn't really in the mood to tell a story. Like, you gonna have to, like, if you want them to know that you was trying to get me pregnant, that you, like, this wasn't just no, oh, where we fucked a few times. No, my nigga, like, you was, like, landing on thick. For you to try to impregnate me, like, over and over again, like, that's a big deal. So I didn't, you know, I'm like, all right, whatever. So then, you know, throughout that particular encounter, he was, speaking another language. I couldn't understand what they were saying. Then one dude was like, "Oh, he said he missed you." I'm like, I doubt he said that, because I know he didn't say that. It was just like this weird thing. He brought some video girl with him and all of that. And so he was being a little nicer, which was quote unquote confusing. And at the time, you know, I was like, okay, so you just got done acting like that, and now you're saying you miss me. I have no idea what the fuck his problem is. So I was confused. So then we ended up getting into an Uber to go to this boat location for the video on the ocean. And he was just nitpicky. Like I remember him like, they need to use my friend's speaker, and my friend, the network wasn't working. And I was like, oh, my network wasn't working. He was like, well, go get her. You lazy? Just talking to me like an African nigga. Like, he never handled me like an African nigga, but he was acting just snapping, like, you know, just talking to me kind of crazy. I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm all about relationships, and when I'm not, I don't want to like act a fool in front of people, because I never know when I may need the connection again. So I was just, you know, chilling until I had the chance to address it. So in the Uber, he was just being an asshole, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, the video girl was in the car. She was like, how do y'all know each other? He was like, oh, I met her at a video shoot. I'm like, he's lying. You know what I'm saying? I think he was trying to be sarcastic. Whatever it was, he was fucking lying. But I'm not going to say, oh, I'm not, at the time, I wasn't feel like explaining that shit. I'm like, whatever. And then it was the time, it was hot as fuck in the car. I was like, he would turn on the AC. He was like, well, the air conditioning is expensive. I'm like, well, I don't care. You have two women back here who are fucking hot. And he was like, well, if you don't care, you can call Uber to get to the location. Just being a dick. A whole dick. So we get on fucking, we get on the boat. We don't really speak to each other. We leave, and they were trying to get me to call the Uber because they from Zambia don't have Uber, and he would just order me around. Like, you know, I mean, it was like, call the Uber. I'm like, why the fuck am I calling Ubers while these niggas around, or whatever it is? And so I was trying to clarify a couple of things with the person who said he was going to pay me back. And he's in the back, you're just stubborn, man. Just do it. You're stubborn. And, you know, just that. And then it was like, I held a bag. I had a bag of, like, chicken, and he was, why do you have chicken? Like, everything I did, he was finding a reason to try to embarrass me, to try to talk to me crazy in front of all of these people. And this whole, and I'm just like, why the fuck you worried about it? Like, I mean, so my Louisiana was trying to come out. So, you know, it was just things like that he was doing. And so then me and him ended up having to take an Uber by ourselves. So when we was walking to where we was going to go to the Uber, I was just like, why are you doing me like this? Like, you just said you love me. You trying to get me pregnant. Like, I've never been so hurt in my whole fucking life. I've never done anything to betray you. And I kept reiterating I never did anything to betray him, because it's true. I never did anything to betray you. I've been fucking loyal. Like, why are you treating me like this? And he was just so cold. He was just so, I was like, do you have a heart? I'm like, was this just for a green card? Did you ever give a fuck about me at all? Like, I was very emotional. Like, was it any of this real? Did I fabricate this whole relationship in my fucking head? Like, who are you? I don't even know who you are. You used to be so warm and gentle and sweet with me, and now you are treating me like I really did something to you. So it was, of course, a very hurtful situation. So we were just going back and forth. Not really going back and forth, because he wasn't really talking. I was just like going off. I'm like, you'll never find another bitch like me. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't understand why you're treating me like this. Like, did you ever give a fuck? So we ended up getting in the Uber. I'm going off the whole Uber ride. Uber ride was like 15 minutes. I'm going off the whole time. I said all kind of shit. I just couldn't handle the cold disrespect meanness that it was. And so I was like, if you keep treating me like this, I'm gonna tell your bitch about us. If you keep treating me like this, I am going to you're not going to just handle me like this. I have pictures, I have videos, I know where you live, and I do have your fucking phone number. I kind of lied about that. I didn't have his phone number, but it's not that hard to get. But I was going off. I was like, I just can't believe that you would treat me like this. You have no idea like how much I truly loved you. I loved all of you. Like the event was a mixture of I love you so much. How could you, to fuck you. It was both of those in the same event. I just so much I had to build up. You have to understand, when you cannot communicate directly with the person, things happen that I have not been able to address with him. So many things. Him not defending me in his club. A situation in his club where a dude threatened me in front of him. Nigga just sat there because he loyal to his fucking job. He didn't hit me up for Valentine's Day. He didn't even call me to see if I was okay after this fucking Nigerian dude threatened me. Which is what, if you go back up the videos when I talked about me wanting to leave and not feeling safe in Africa, that was in the presence of this dude that I'm supposed to love. And, I was like, you'll never find another bitch like me ever. Like, you're going to regret treating me like this, like they all do. All dudes regret treating me this way. They all regret doing things to me. They all regret fucking it up, and you ain't gonna be no different. I was like, I regret fucking meeting you. I was like, never mind. No, I don't regret fucking meeting you. I'll never again date a bitch, a nigga with a girlfriend. I want a nigga that's living in the truth. I don't want a nigga sneaking around his fat ass bitch. His girlfriend is fucking fat and gross. And I definitely was like, I want a nigga that is bold enough, is in his power, that can say, I don't want to be with this fat bitch. I want to be with the fine one. Like, I was going the fuck off. 100% going the fuck off. I was like, I'll never again fuck with a nigga that's not a boss. I was like, I don't want the nigga that's working the club. I want the nigga that's owning the club, so nobody can handle me. So I just want a nigga with power. Like, I was telling the actual truth, because that all of those things are true. But it didn't really change the fact that I was in love with him. So here we are. So I gave him all of that, and he still just wasn't responding at all. So I'm running after him. We get to the hotel. I'm trying to stand in front of him to stop him from walking so that we can talk and get some kind of closure. I'm like, I'm leaving. I don't want us to leave like this. I'm like, look, I don't want us to leave on this note. He's, telling me I can't make him listen to me. He's just not really engaged. I'm like, here I am, like running up behind a nigga that I've done nothing to. But that's just what I had to do. I